David Shore from Christian Child Protective Services. Now, there have been arguments on transgender. Got those on the side that say trans women are women. That they're not men dressing up as women. It's like trans men are women. Biological. That this new group calls biological men and women cis. Like cis men and cis women. Through my studies of the Bible, I learned something. There's a word that always came. If you think it's the word obey, there's another word. It's choose. Make choices every day, every second of the day. You decide if you're going to get up or not. You decide what you're going to have for breakfast. You decide if you're going to go to work or not. You decide if you're going to drive, you're going to take a cab, you're going to ride a bicycle. You make choices. And yes, there are people that are choosing that they're not what they were biologically born as. And we have to accept their decision. We have to accept their choice. Problem is, will they accept the consequences? Or will they force people to comply with the choice that they made, the decision? Will they yell, holler, and scream? Will they terrorize as they did the Bradley Gaines? Now, besides Spotify, I'm going to be putting this episode on Rumble. And I'm going to say this right now. I do not care if the left doesn't like me. That is my choice. My choice to be able to say whatever I want. The problem is when one side dictates, when one side says, this is the way it is, I say so, so you have to listen. You have to do as I say. It's called dictatorship. But if I say that a transgender woman is a man, and someone says that they're not, we should be able to communicate back and forth with each other. And be able to agree to disagree. But still respect one another. Now, no one is asking this question. So I will ask it. And the question is, why is this so important? Why are these new versions of transgender? In fact, why is this even an issue? Are people not happy with who they are? You know, there are people that have gone through the surgeries, the puberty, the puberty blockers. There's documentaries coming out. But AMC, oh no, we can't show this because it's decayed. Why? You've got individuals who are threatening violence. If there's a biological male, you can even say, you can see that the person was a male, saying that I am to try to stop him because that'll be the biggest mistake in my life. I understand that he's under investigation by law enforcement. Now, if that's the case, I commend law enforcement. And before you say anything, yes, I am a supporter of law enforcement. I believe there are good people, and yes, there are bad people, like anything else. But folks, what kind of message are we teaching our kids? You know that your kids are going to decide that today they may want to be a firefighter. Tomorrow, they see that little Susie got some special privileges. And so they want those privileges. And so little Tommy wants to be like little Susie. You got teachers who are saying, okay, little Tommy, you know what, you're not male, you're female. That's your pronoun. How confusing is it going to be when these kids start learning about what nouns, pronouns, verbs, adverbs, adjectives? They start hearing that, it's like, well, wait a minute. See, a noun describes a person, place, or thing. And a pronoun takes the place of a noun. Basic grammar. What do we tell our kids? All of a sudden, they're first told, okay, you can change, you can have any pronoun you want. Then they start learning about pronouns and say, that's not what I was taught. That's not what the teacher told me. What about the people that have gone through the whole thing? The puberty blockers, the surgeries, everything. As soon as I can, I'm going to show you a woman, California, Hispanic woman. She had a daughter. State took the daughter away. CPS, Child Protection Services. You know, they don't say, you know, that that's what they said. What happened? The reason they took the child, not for abuse, not for neglect, is because the mother did not use the child's pronoun, but the child wanted to be called. Child was taken. She fought. She never got her child back. Her mother said that she knelt in front, was now kneeling on the train tracks in front of a train. The train ran over the young lady. Suicide. the deaths that they're talking about, wasn't by the hands of conservatives, wasn't by hands of Republicans. These states like California, who insist on this, who insist, you got to respect their pronouns, you got to allow them to, mutilate their body. And then they don't go into the psychological. They do not go into the downside of it. Now you got states, like states I'm from, Indiana and Florida, had the same wording, only if you do it, they're going to take your kid. I think that's not going to happen. Folks, if they would just take that wording out, that if you do this or don't do this, that we're going to take your kids. It's an excuse for Child Protection Services to take your children. That's the long and short of it. They just found a legal way in which to go. Child Protection Services, we heard that you were using your child's pronoun, so we're taking the child. Law says that we can do it. And what about states like Indiana and Florida? Let's say you're not trying to transition your child from one sex to the other. Maybe you got a teacher, maybe you got a neighbor who doesn't like the way you're raising your child. All of a sudden, boom, 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 Child Protection Services, open up. We got a warrant or a court order. Take your child. Heard that you're trying to transition your child. We're here to take your child. Think that won't happen? Those in states like Florida and Indiana. Think about that. It's not California. You don't have to worry about pronouns. You have to worry about, like, Indiana Department of Child Services, where they take your child. They're going to use that to take your child. Take your child, and they don't care. It's all about this. Follow the money, they say. Well, that's true. Now, my podcast that's on Spotify, I started at Anchor. First episode was about the history of Child Protection Services that started in Chancery Courts in England in 1601 under the Poor Law Act. If you have an opportunity, check that out. Also, check out my podcast. It's at Anchor and Spotify and anywhere that you see podcasts. Now, I've never been on Rumble before, to my knowledge. But know this. I'm holding these politicians accountable. I want to know why it is that both sides decided, hey, this is a good idea. On the one side, Republican side, oh, if you try to transition your child, if you use puberty blockers, and doctors, if you perform gender reconstruction surgery on a child under 18, we're going to take your license away, possibly have you also arrested, and parents will have you take your child. And California is just the opposite way. If you use the wrong pronouns, if you don't allow your child to transition from from one sex to the other. They were going to take your children. Now, I know there'll be some of you on Rumble who are might get mad at me. I really don't care. I really don't. You are playing Russian roulette with the children. You are playing this game, this one-upmanship with children. Why? It's very simple. This has nothing to do with the best interests of the child and children. This has everything to do with who's going to be in the White House in 2024 and who's going to have control of the House and Senate. Eric Holcomb, governor of my state, Indiana, just gave his endorsement to Mike Pence. Mike Pence can go suck my left nut, make the right one jealous. Anyone who's been in Indiana knows what Mike Pence did to the state. Now you got Holcomb signing the bills that basically gives DCS the green light to take your kids. Read Senate Bill 480. Read any of these bills that were passed. They got, some are saying they don't say gay bill. No, it's an education bill where parents have the right to decide about their children and what education they get. It has nothing to do with sexuality or anything. What happened to the 3 R's? Reading, writing, and arithmetic. All of a sudden, cross-dressing. And, let the cross-dressers read to the kids. There are people, individuals, like Gays Against Groomers. They can't figure that out. I've been watching these short videos of the Gays Against Groomers. They're going to school boards and just asking the simple question: what does this have anything to do with educating their children? I mean, come on, folks. Everyone knows that the best way to win, get the people to come to your side, target their children. Yeah. Adolf Hitler. People thought it was an honor to have their children selected for these schools for the Aryan race. If your child. Oh, wow. It was only the German race. You gotta notice that? Now, we have people who are not happy with themselves. I mean, after all, look at Dylan Mulvaney. He comes out, says, "I love the gays." Dylan Mulvaney has lost his ever-loving collective mind. Who is he? Sorry, folks, I'm driving and I've got somebody directly in front of me slowing down. I've got to put my four-ways on. There's nothing I can do about it. Got Dylan Mulvaney, Jeffrey Marsh, and we're supposed to accept them. Accept them that they're going to teach your children that we shouldn't be homophobic, all this. Well, how come the homosexual community, the ones that identify gay, lesbian, or bisexual, lesbian, gay, bisexual, however they want to go, LGB, they don't do the LGBTQ, RSTUV, WXYZ. What they do is they're now going, the school boards, they just want to live their lives. I'm now seeing on there that group is now, some of them are now saying they don't want Gay Pride Month. That it set their movement back. I mean, what is this new fringe group? Why? I don't know if anyone's asked this question. And again, I ask, why is this so important to the Dylan Mulvaney's and Jeffrey Marshes? Leah Thompson, I believe that's. And to that guy, and I'm going to say it, to that guy, I ask, you're ranked what, something like 500 in the men's? Then all of a sudden, you woke up and said, I think I'll be a woman. What? You realize that at that point you weren't going to get any better? What was it that just snapped in your brain that you decided to compete as a woman? It's really, I don't understand it. I do not understand a biological man wanting to compete against women. Serena Williams, it's all over the internet. Serena Williams, and Miss Williams, I'm sorry if I'm using you as an example if you're watching, but she came out and said that she'd rather compete against women, other women. I believe that her and her sister, I want to say Venus, I believe that is her sister's name, that they competed against 203rd and 204th, something like that, ranked males, and they got beat. And so these are athletes, high caliber tennis athletes. I'm not going to say anything negative about that because they worked hard. They worked hard to get where they're at. For that, I'm driving, but I tip my hat. If I had a hat on, I'd tip it. That's the whole thing. The question is always, what is a man and what is a woman? And these individuals are saying that a man can be anything that they want, and a woman can be like that. And I'm going, since when? Remember Kindergarten Cop?
little boy that says boys have a penis, girls have a vagina. There are women coming out, biological women, who are stating, just because you say you're a woman, that doesn't mean you are. I'm a man. I can't be anything other than what I was born as. I can't say I'm a tiger. I can't say I'm a unicorn. I can't say that I'm anything other than what I was born. Changing the definition does not make it so. But that's the whole thing. Why are we even, how we this? How many times do we have to go through this? How many times do we have to hear, like, Riley Gaines being chased by transgender activists? By the way, Ms. Gaines, I'm surprised law enforcement did not enforce the stand your ground. The state of California actually has that. This is the whole thing. How many people? How many? Have to be bullied, have to be terrorized. And these were the transgender people. These were the individuals who became violent. But according to them, it's conservative white Christians who are doing it. Because, it's Christianity that's making them violent. Not people that are terrorizing, chasing them down. That a biological man, boom, hits a woman. We've just gone so far down that rabbit hole. So what do we do? How do we get back to a sense of normalcy? And I know there are going to be some trans people going to say, that's hate speech. No. It's covered under the First Amendment, freedom of speech. Speech is not hate. Speech is speech. The person has a right, their First Amendment right, to speak as they see fit, as long as it doesn't incite violence. But that's the problem with this country. That's the problem. Is that we have these transgender individuals who will call them anything they want. Non-binary, trans males, trans females. I'm surprised people do not identify as a puppy. Or identify as a single-cell organism. Piers Morgan, I like that. A two-spirited penguin. I mean, I'm still trying to wrap my mind around this idea that if we say, then it's so. How many
of us growing up, we wanted to be so many different things. I know I wanted to be an architect, then a pilot, race car driver. I even wanted to be like Bruce Lee. The problem is this. Just because I say it, that doesn't mean I am. Because to be anything in this world takes hard work, takes discipline. But if you talk genders, then that's a whole different arena. There are surgeries, but only after you turn 18. Some states, I believe, it's also 21. So, for the parents who say, well, my little Tommy and my little Susie, oh, I knew that they wanted to be this at 2 years old. How about doing something very original? Let the child be a child. Hell, how many kids wear their parents' shoes? Does that mean that a girl wears her father's shoes and she wants to be a boy? Or the boy, clowning around or something, puts on his mother's shoes? Of course, the boy's going to get his butt chewed out. Hey, what are you doing with your mother's shoes? Get those off. Parents are to guide their children. Also explain how a boy cannot be a girl and a girl cannot be a boy. Mr. Rogers, you probably have seen that video where boys are boys, girls are girls. Boys become men, girls become women. Girls become women become mothers. So, I know I keep on harping on this, but the whole thing is 2024 is coming. How do we want future generations to look upon this? Do we want them to think, looking back, going, did they lose their ever-loving freaking minds? Or do we want them to say in the 2024 election, these people made a decision, a conscious decision, to decide, we're going to change the path. We have a decision to make also. We got either senile Joe. Actually, he has the signs of Alzheimer's. But of course, as long as he's got the medication, he's somewhat okay. Then you got Donald Trump. The Democrats are going, oh yeah, we got him this time, we got him this time. How many times have you heard that? Let's stop passing judgment. Let's wait. But like the ladies of The View, if you're watching this time, Whoopi, Trump wins and you say you're going to move, do it. Follow through. we can make a choice on who we want to control the House and Senate. Those are choices we can make. But to end this, so I don't sound like a broken record that I already am, if we are born male or born female, we can't decide then to put, like, I think the term woman face, can't put all that stuff on. Guy cannot say he's a woman simply because he dresses like a woman. We call it a cross-dresser. And J. Edgar Hoover, he was a cross-dresser right here. But you wouldn't know it. He probably did it in the privacy of his home. If you want to dress up as a woman, fine. Just do not force others to say that you are. Let people respect their decisions. If they say, hey sir, how you doing? And you get offended, as a child I was bullied. My dad told me, David, you're going to have to grow a tough skin because people are going to tease you. And if they know that it bothers you, they're going to do it even more. So those that are yelling, hollering, screaming about these laws, and also about people saying, yes sir, so a biological male that's dressed up as a female, people are going to continue doing it. People are going to continue teasing you, making fun of you. I mean, look what they're doing to Dylan Mulvaney. So, folks, I'll say this. And those of you who are transgender watching this, I don't know if you are, I'll say this. Grow a tough skin, tell better jokes. That's what my parents, my brother Kenny, told his wife, Diane, because she cried about my parents my family telling, I'm going to say it, Polak jokes. She was Polish. So she can't, so one day, they were going back and forth. So what happened? She started telling better jokes, better Polak jokes. This came from a woman who was Polish. And if you find offense to that, well, if she was alive, she'd tell you, hey, grow a tough skin or tell better jokes. David Shore from Corruption and Child Protective Services. Keep your head down. Keep moving forward. And let's teach our children about the 3 R's, reading, writing, and arithmetic. And if they're confused about which sex they should be, use your best judgment. But remember, that child's going to have to live with whatever decision they make. So give them the best information you can. Because in the end, they have to live their lives. We don't. kids are confused enough. And if you give them the wrong information, and that pressure gets too much for them. His fault isn't when they're no longer in this world. Those that say, well, would you rather have a dead daughter or a live son? I say this. Watch what you say. Because you're always going to find one person who's going to take matters into their own hands. Whatever that is that they do, it's going to be something that you're going to remember.